bans are. First ban is going to be coming out from NoStrats.
We're not expecting, obviously, to see any line that is currently removed from the equation. So we're actually going to see Thatcher banned out. I feel like that's actually a pretty intelligent ban coming out here from NoStrats.
It is, yes. Thatcher is a great ban, I think, on this map, especially if you're going to be working on the hard breachers. Now, we should see probably Thermite, Hibana, as it comes up here. Oh, we're seeing a Blitz. Okay, never mind. That's always a good choice, I think. Blitz can be an annoying operator. So I'm not upset at that. You know, if we see a Legion band, I'll be really interested in that as well. We can see Chow Mein is rather upset about that, though.
Yeah, no,
it must be the Blitz main.
Those Blitz mains do tend to get pretty shafted when it comes to losing out on those picks. Shield characters in general, some teams just banning because they don't like them. But Mira, such a centerpiece for a lot of defenses, and getting rid of it, if you as a team don't use it, is such a good move.
It really is. Now, I'll be interested to see who NoStrats are going to be banning here. Now that they've taken out the Mira, generally we see somebody like Echo or Maestro being taken out, just taking out that extra information. But we're going to be seeing Frost. So I wonder if there's been a bit of counter-stratting going on. Frost is a rather unorthodox pick for a ban, especially on this map. Like I said, I think an Echo or a Maestro ban would have been a little bit more effective at shutting down these plants, but they may have those pocket strats in place as we see what the team lineups are looking like.
Yeah, going to see some pretty standard picks coming out in Jaeger, but the Castle also coming up here, and they're going to be going to Workshop and Ventilation, which is not something I was expecting to see this Castle pick for.
No, normally you don't see that, but as we just talked about, the Echo is being picked here for that extra information, that plant denial. We're seeing the Thermite brought out, as well as a Maverick. I think those are great picks. The Ying and the Jackal also very standard in trying to clear out those roamers here on border. And the sixth pick from the Legion to the Smoke, rather good in my opinion. I think the Smoke will be very crucial in keeping that plant denial in place.
I'm definitely really interested in some of these newer picks that you mentioned, like Maverick, because obviously when we last had the split, we were kind of at the start of Maverick's lifespan. We didn't really see a huge amount, but we did see it come into fruition in some of these strategies. Obviously, getting rid of those hard breaches on the walls by drawing those two lines at the top and bottom. But the thing I really want to pick up on is whether we'll see any Cade or Nomad, because they're definitely fun champs. They have a lot of niche uses. How do you feel about that?
You know, I like the operators a lot. I feel like they are both very balanced. They're both also very strong at the same time. Their guns aren't something that is like too fast of a fire rate. Although we did see Cade's shot. His SMG did get a buff recently to the ADS time, so that's something very important. I'd like to see them played. Maybe when they go upstairs to Armory, we're going to see the Cade brought out for the wall denial as well as a Bandit. They obviously didn't bring any denial down here in the basement, but it's not really needed. But I'd like to see Cade brought out on defense. Nomad is somebody who they could pass up at any time. Really kind of one of those operators you can float in and out in place of somebody like that Maverick.
Yeah, the gun's not particular or anything to write home about. I do love messing around, obviously, with the air jab. Does have a lot of fun uses. But we're going to see this Jackal come out, and I feel like this is good because some teams in this league, the ones who are really effective, they've been utilizing roamers to great effect.
They really have been. And we can see right now there's a slight hold upstairs, which is pretty standard on this type of defensive hold when you're holding ventilation downstairs. You want to have somebody roaming upstairs usually. You want to try and shut that down so they don't get the hatches, they don't get that vertical control. And we're seeing some good droning coming out here because we can tell they want to take that top floor, as well as they're going to be pushing in towards that back bathroom, which is generally kind of a standard take for somebody like Thermite to go in and open up that wall. And just like that, we see one pick coming out from Cook My Chow Mein onto Gatey, and that is the Hassle being taken down to no health while also taking out that Zofia.
Yeah, a really good defense there, managing to stop them from making any sort of pushes on in. But we actually see them here in Tellers trying to push through on this side. So I think they really want to move towards these bathrooms, but they want to take top floor control, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult to actually make that push when push comes to shove.
You're absolutely right. And we've already had half of the time taken off of this clock right now, and the wall has yet to be open. There's still a really good presence over in that Teller side from the attackers. They have made entry. They are setting up their position. Now they just have to get this wall open.
Well, they're going to smoke off that castle barricade and then thermite on through. But Noiser, they are ready to respond. They're going to smoke off instantly. But it's going to come down to those last few seconds when the smoke is less relevant now because they have utilized those remote gas grenades early.
You're absolutely right. With only one left, they really need to hold on to that. But they still have that echo in place, so they are not completely out of options here.
Indeed they are. Racy Hot Dog is actually on the side. He's managed to sneak in, but Noiser will peek around the side and does pick him off. Is making sure that no one encroaches too far upon their territory, as we do see Rogue Trooper clean out a little bit on this outside area and waiting room.
That's some very good picks. Putting it at a 3v3 right now, but only 30 seconds left on the clock. We still have the smoke in the bathroom holding a tight angle. We're going to see the Jackal throwing in a smoke canister of his own to try and obscure that vision as he makes his move. Tries to take the shot through the smoke, but he's going to be smoked out of that corner.
The Echo Drone stopping anything from happening from this thermite. Viscid Tuna struggling to really make an impact. They only have 10 seconds. Plant was going down, but good suppressing fire will cover him on out. Viscid Tuna has very little health left. Is going to look for this, but was shooting in the wrong direction and gets picked off by Chippy. That Echo being instrumental in that round.
Very instrumental, and just like as we talked about in the very beginning of this round, having that plant denial is so important, and it really plays such a key factor if you don't have somebody like that Mira. But generally, on that site, on that lower site, you don't see Mira played. So, to be fair, the Echo was a smart choice. They utilized him fantastically. That round came down to that final 30 seconds in a 3v3, so both teams honestly had a really good attack, a really good defense up until that final push, and then we just saw the defense completely shut them down with the use of that Echo.
Yeah, they chewed through so much time, and actually, I was a little bit unsure about how the smoke canister usage was actually going to really affect the game, because obviously used them quite early, but slowing it down enough to give the Echo an opportunity, because they did manage to keep him alive at the back of that site, was a huge part of that, and it was... I don't want to say the word instrumental, Glenn, but very key in actually controlling.
You know, you're absolutely right. Now, one thing that I think hurt in the beginning of that round was Zofia getting picked. They couldn't open up that bathroom door, and so that really allowed that smoke to sit in there for as long as humanly possible to deny that push, to keep throwing those smoke canisters and just keeping them at bay for seconds at a time, 15 seconds at a time. And it was just so important. If they'd gotten that one castle barricade down, it would have made that push a little bit easier for them.
They are going to move to this upstairs armory area now. Go for a little bit of a different setup. Pretty similar in terms of most of it, but they are now going to take this bandit in order to deal with some of these reinforceable walls.
Which is honestly okay. I think they could have taken the Rook for the Cade like we talked about earlier, but Rook putting out those armor plates, something really useful to clearly help with being downed instead of killed if you're ever taking those body shots. Mm-hmm. But like we said, they've seen the bandit come out for that denial on those walls. Really smart plays, and they've decided this time to swap the thermite for the Hibana. And they've also put the Maverick on the shelf and brought out a Twitch.
I do like this IQ, however. I think that's actually a very clever usage. Obviously, allows you to deal with so much in the realm of electronics, and it pretty much hits everything here, bar the Rook plates.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think if they get that IQ downstairs, especially, getting those batteries off the wall is just going to be that much easier. And we can see there's already pressure up on AC right now, as Viscid Tuna is going to be droning out the site, letting them know that they are pretty much clear to be pushing B, but Smoke did rotate just in the nick of time onto B.
Gady managing to find a good kill. Taking out that Echo early, really key. It's actually set them up so well.
And that the power of that IQ, as you had just touched on, saying how important IQ was going to be. Getting that pick on that Echo from below, sitting on his phone. So smart.
Yeah. Gonna get really hard punished. And now, 1 minute 40 seconds on the clock. They're going to start to make their moves. They want to try and get this hard breach down. Don't overextend too much. So they are taking it slow and not going into these kill zone areas where they could just get caught out.
We're seeing a really nice, cautious push into these offices right here. We see both the Jackal and the Hibana. Hibana joining the Jackal, and very smart right now. They still have 1:20 left on the clock. They know there's a presence in there, and them taking their time right now is just showing that they have confidence when they're making this push.
Indeed they do. They don't want to move Greasy on in first, but the Jackal is starting to smoke it off so they can move on in. As the Inox is actually going to get tagged up a little bit, but does get to a good position. Can now start to fire on in. It's Gady yet again on this IQ, finding those kills. You can hear the Hibana pellets going off, opening up a little bit of a hole on in. But it's going to be an FCR Nathan on this Ying, starting to Candela them in. Gady moves on and is looking for these frags. They are on the other side of the site. The impact comes on in, tries to spray through, but FCR Nathan does not know where they are. And Chow Mein does get a kill. Gady refrags. It is now 4-3 versus 1. It's only Noiser now. Has one more gas grenade, but is on the actual diffuser. 30 seconds left, has this shotgun, but gets taken down by Viscatuna to close out the round.
Honestly, a fantastic round by both teams. Really good pushes coming out from the attackers. The IQ, an unbelievable performance by the IQ, getting some really crucial picks, getting those impact frags, as they call them, early in the round, making sure that they had the numbers in the beginning, making sure that they took out the plant denial in the beginning. It was honestly just a great performance. I believe that was Chippy on, or I'm sorry, Gady on the IQ.
Yeah, definitely fantastic at that, getting those early picks and allowing them to move into the back. Didn't quite check their corners and did get caught out by Chow Mein right at the end there, losing their Ying. But in general, a pretty strong push. They are actually going to now pick up that buck because they presume they're going to be heading back to Armory Lockets here. And they did presume right.
Yes, and a very good pick. They still have that IQ. And as we see here, they've decided to focus off of the Echo. They're taking the Valkyrie instead. That's the only swap we are seeing here for the defenders, and that's probably a good play right now. They're not going to be relying on somebody sitting on those drones. You can throw your cameras, forget about it. Valkyrie can go about her business getting those frags.
Indeed, and I think staying a little bit more mobile here is important, especially since they know that the IQ is going to be coming out, and they're not quite aware of the buck, but they're aware it is a possibility that there could be a lot of threat from below, because the IQ made it, Gady made it very, very aware.
Absolutely. So they need to put some pressure first floor. They need to have a roamer down there. I don't believe they had a roamer last time, and that's what allowed Gady to just kind of walk in there, just stroll on in, use that gadget, and find out where the Echo was sitting. And honestly, without roamers on border, I don't know how you're playing this map then. You always should have at least one roamer.
And it is the better teams that tend to do that have been doing that in this tournament. We need to see a little bit more adaptation from some of the lower down teams to actually get to a point where they can easily stymie the aggression from some teams, where they do take so much map presence almost instantaneously. I like that Nexus TMS is actually moving through into security room here.
Yes, absolutely. Putting pressure inside of CCTV. At least I always like to sit in there. I think it's a good place to sit if you are going to be holding that side. Now, if they're doing another office push, though, if they're pushing on the east side of the map, you're kind of useless. I mean, you can kind of hold down the corridor that looks down to the east stairs, but it doesn't really hold that strong of a presence.
Indeed, it doesn't. We're going to see them actually put a lot of pressure on the south side, more than we saw in the previous round. So it might have a little bit of a better time here. But I want to see them put pressure on this bottom floor, because right now there's no one down there to really contest it. Gady yet again. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are absolutely taking control of that first floor. And like you said, Gady taking some shots up through the floor, trying to find them.
Chow Mein on this angle, but is aware that on their east there will be some pressure. Has to be careful, because otherwise doesn't want to get flanked. Nexus is starting to move on through, but doesn't get the shot. It's going to be Rogue Trooper who finds that, and the first frag goes over to him.
And he was just leaning the wrong way right there. Now, they just cleared out the entirety of CCTV. They're unsure yet. If they just throw one drone in there, they will see. But it looks like, no, Greasy Hot Dogs is going to leap right in. Is not worried at all as they try and open up this armory wall, but they can see it is going to be bandited as SL Midnight gets a pick onto Viscatuna, taking out that Twitch, and FCR Nathan taking a lot of damage at 1 health.
Yeah, I think, honestly, you need to see Gady deal with these bandit boxes on this wall here and give Greasy Hot Dog the opportunity to actually get these Hibana pellets down. But Chippy and Chow Mein hold the line and are now 2 kills up over their opponents.
Yeah, putting a
Ooh.
4v2 situation. Oh, but we do see SL Midnight has been disconnected. We are not going to see a rehost, though, because there are 40 seconds left in the round. It is still a 3v2 as Chow Mein gets taken down. I don't know if he's injured or if he's at 1 health. No, he is injured right now. We can see him on the ground there. As now effectively a 2v2, but there's still a health advantage for the defenders.
Yeah, Greasy Hot Dog is going to struggle to really get on in here. Doesn't have much in the way of utility to actually flash them on in or anything of the sort. Rogue Trooper as well, under the similar kind of pressure. Chippy does manage to keep up Greasy Hot Dog. Fast Food goes well together, and Chow Mein will finish it on up.
Just like that, a really strong defensive hold once again on this top floor. Top floor, though, being a little bit more of a normal pick, I feel like. It's generally the first site we see held. So to see it being held so successfully is very, very nice.
Indeed it is. I'm interested to see whether we're going to have a proper pause, whether we're going to restart, whether it's just going to be a reconnect. Doesn't look like it. Looks like teams are pretty happy to go on. But yeah, I'm unsurprised to see that so the IQ back from Yadi. I think if they utilize that better this time, play again from below more. If they go back to Armory, obviously, because we're going to Workshop now, they could easily take that. But it was a big mistake for them to do otherwise.
Right, I'm actually interested to see that they're passing on the Buck this time, because since they are going back downstairs, there's a lot of room to be opening up that top floor, to be creating that space. And there we go. We see SL Midnight connect just in time, picking up that bandit. So nice to see him return. But yeah, I'm interested to see that there is no Buck being played this time. Jackal can still create that hole, or those holes in the floor, with his secondary shotgun. But Buck is just so much more efficient at it. His shotgun, his skeleton key is so much better than Jackal's sidearm. So I'm just a little taken back on the swap there.
Indeed. I do like the fact that we're seeing this Legion. It does help them kind of facilitate the slower play. I do feel like it's unnecessary, though, because they obviously had a great usage of the smoke on this, and I think it's better to keep Noiser on that and actually hold well, because this was actually a site that worked quite well for them in the previous round. So why would you change things up?
You're right. I think keeping the smoke would probably be a good play. Legion's not a bad choice. You know, he also has plant denial. You know, IQ is going to be looking for those goo mines, though, so that is a little bit of a downside there, a little bit of counter pick. But very good at plant denial, very good at slowing down the pushes, so long as those goo mines don't get spotted out by that IQ.
Indeed, we will see him kind of put down an early warning system for his team to give them a bit more information about where people are, because obviously his team has been giving up a lot of pressure early on and a lot of map space. We see them moving into tellers. We see the side of Siegechester just move on in and instantly claim tellers, and no one really contests them. And they can move all the way through to toilet and in front of there without pretty much any repercussions.
Yeah, they're making a very, very good push here. Now, it should have been called to Greasy Hot Dog here that tellers is clear. I mean, the drone went in at least 15 seconds ago now, and they finally made their entry in, which is good to see. They should know that nobody's out in waiting room. They are going to be opening this castle door, at least they look like they're planning on it, which is very important. It's the one thing that they failed to do on round one. So opening this door now, I've got high hopes for this attacking team.
Indeed. Greasy Hot Dog trying to hold that angle, make sure no one really contests it from them when they try to get this plant with this Thermite once it's resolved. But we see some players now going above. Gady is here, just making sure no one pushes too far forward, and they're going to start making their way through this castle barricade as FCR Nathan tries to track some opponents.
And it sounded like he taking some shots from behind. I think that was from the main stairs there. And we see that the Rook has been droned. Yes, the Rook has been droned out of the bathroom. SL Midnight, though, going to be finding the first pick onto FCR Nathan, and that's the Jackal being taken out. Good luck to the roamers now. They've got plenty of room, but the phone call has come out as Nexus is going to be taking some shots, holding the bathroom as they come pushing into the doorway. Gets on his phone and allows Rogue Trooper to find the headshot, but Chippy responds with another frag of his own, but SL Midnight gets another one. It is now a 2v4.
Kids these days always on their phones, and now it's Viscid Tuna, the last remaining member. Normally, it's pretty good to have your Thermite alive out of, like, losing anyone, but not when you're on a solo push. It just makes it so difficult. He has absolutely no utility as well, took the Claymore, doesn't have flashes. It's going to be so hard to make this push. Doesn't know where there are
It is going to be incredibly hard. Oh, and he just sees that Legion right there, taking the pick out. It is a 3v1 now, but just like you said, 30 seconds left. He still has his exothermic charges. He can still make something happen, but it's going to be so incredibly hard without those flash grenades.
Especially against 3 players, and they're just holding different sight lines. Just didn't notice SL Midlight there for a good few seconds, and now with 10 seconds on the clock is moving on into the site. Got Legioned on up, but will look for the plant. Doesn't even have the bomb. Is just trying to get these frags at this point. Is so far doing a pretty decent job, but only has 9 shots left, and Chow Mein comes out and cooks him.
Honestly, a very hectic round. Really good hold, though, by the defense. It could have gone, though, in favor of the attackers at the end there. There was a little bit of miscommunication. SL Midnight laying down in the middle of a corridor, just doing whatever he was doing. I have no idea, but hey, it almost worked for him. Thermite ended up getting that kill, though, as Tuna barely saw him. But it was honestly a really good round for Tuna. He almost had that clutch, but it ended up being a very good hold by the defense.
Indeed it was, and so far the defense holding up pretty well. We're going to see some new picks coming out in Ela and Capital here, starting to kind of diversify a bit. I like the Capital. I think it's actually a really good pick, especially for setting up some of the pushes that we've seen from them so far. It is actually going to be supply and customs that we're seeing now, though.
Yes, I was actually just going to comment on that as they bring out the Capital, because he is so good at cutting off that entire angle from detention. I think it's so good at just kind of creating the diversion. I mean, they could leave through the window, but if they open up detention wall and they just kind of throw the smoke in there towards customs, it's going to completely create the best smoke screen they need to get that push in. So I'm happy to see the Capital being brought out right now. He's such a strong utility operator.
Indeed he is. A lot of drones dying early, and it means there's a lack of information for the side of Siegechester, but so far they've been punished for that. Yeah,
3 drones right now already being taken out. That is going to be huge for them. They need to find some better spots, some better entry points for those drones, because losing majority of these entry drones is detrimental.
Yeah, only 1 left. That's a really bad drone economy for the side of Siegechester now. They're going to struggle to get a lot of the information, which is just key for some of these pushes.
Yeah, they may need to make this a pistol round if they've wasted their economy like this. I'm not really sure what they were thinking, but, you know, it's kind of one of those things where you say, okay, if we lose this one, no worries. Halftime's coming up. We can come back. It's a defensive map, or we've got defensive strats. So, you know, we'll see how they play this.
Well, they're going to go back to droning now, trying to get that information. And a lot of time has been wasted as a result. They can't use the drones, which are already in position, and then make the move from there. But we will see them checking out Tellers. Tellers, seemingly a very popular place to them. But they're going to get this Thermite pretty much almost instantaneously resolved on this west wall.
And that is so fantastic. I'm so happy that they've taken this push so quickly, because like you said, there was a lot of waste of time. FCR Nathan, though, taking some shots across the way. He's going to be opening up that wall, though, and we can see that it is the Bandit of Chow Mein, possibly the Jaeger, actually, of Nathan. Yeah, it was, I'm sorry, SL Midnight.
He's waiting in the wings here behind this desk. Goes get droned out, and that is pretty lethal for him right now. Tries to spray a bit to get himself out of the position. Does actually down FCR here. Greasy Hot Dog is going to be the first one to find an actual kill, though, onto Nexus TMS. And we see now it's starting to rotate around. They want to get FCR Nathan back up.
Yeah, and I honestly thought that the Thermite had rotated through that that hole that the Ying had opened up, but I guess he did not, and he was just running outside. I thought they were going to get him up so instantaneously. But still, so far, they do have the advantage. Oh, we see that Midnight has gone down. He did not rotate out of his spot there in main lobby. So now it is effectively a 3v5. The Yings are going off. They want to push in through Passport there.
Chippy
It looks like they're going to be getting Midnight up.
Yeah, FCR just manages to whiff every single shot there. Chippy manages to take him down. It is now 4v4, but health is not very high. The The attackers explode forward, finding 2 kills and sending Chippy packing. They're now looking to move onto this site. 45 seconds remaining. Chippy knows they're there. Diffuser is getting planted. They're just holding angles now. They need to spring into action, because that Diffuser is just going to get planted. Now Greasy Hot Dog has switched onto this defending side.
And now the retake has to come out from the defenders, but we're going to see it's going to be nearly impossible as it is ended right there. Biscuit Tuna getting a nice double kill, and we're going to see here. Oh, they almost nearly line up for the collateral.
Yeah, that's
that was
a good round.
Very nice round from the attackers.
That's a really good round to get as well for Siegechester. They're looking to try and even this on up. They just need one more round to go 3-3 in the first half, and then really looking to clean things up in that second one. Especially since they've actually used these bans on things which I feel are a lot more important, especially since we actually have a Blitz main on the side of NoStrats. I think it's actually going to be pretty key to remove the mirror as well, more than anything.
Indeed, and we are seeing a little bit of a mix-up here. The Ash being benched for the Twitch, the Smoke being benched for the Legion. You know, Smoke has been I think, the proper play so far on these defensive rounds. I haven't seen Legion's mines be kind of the game changer, either preventing the plant or preventing a push. So I think Smoke would have been a better choice, but, you know, overall, it's been very even rounds. You know, whatever they're taking right now, they're utilizing to the best of their ability. So I'm not going to fault them on that. They're doing fantastic jobs at trying to keep this as even as possible.
Indeed. It's been quite the opening match so far. We've had a pretty even watch. I'm glad to see some of these early matches aren't so even. We get a little bit of a stomp. But this one has been good so far, and I'm glad for that, because we had back and forth for sure. Gonna be... I've actually liked the fact that we've seen a lot of priority going through to this Ying for SCR Nathan. We've been seeing it obviously not be super popular after the changes to the amount of utility it has. But I do still think it's a strong pick. Specifically, in this tournament, you didn't see many people pick it after that, but it does still have those flashes, which mainly don't flash you. That's pretty awesome to be able to roll into a site and not get flashed as your opponents are.
Absolutely. No, they are so incredibly powerful as long as they're utilized properly. Sometimes I see players throw them in, wait for them to flash, and then that's when they decide that they are going to be running it after the flash is already initiated, when it's something you should really be, you know, running in while it's rolling, while it's going to be initiating its flash. But as we saw there, Twitch almost lost her drone. Greasy Hot Dog able to barely get away, wasting, although, one of those Twitch charges.
Here they are. FCR Nathan trying to spearhead this push by giving the information that's really required to make it. But a good spray from Nexus will take down Gady as they try to move on forward with that IQ. From below. Good punish early on. That is important to do because, as we said, Gady was so key in the early rounds here.
But it looks like Armory Wall has already been opened up, so the job has been done by Gady. Gady looks like that they got those bandit battery charges off the wall, as Noisa playing very aggressive up in this archives. But getting that wall open, they were successful this time. They're going to be able to put pressure on, as well as we see the Yings come into archives as well, sitting out on AC, putting the pressure. And they are going to be returning fire onto that Ying.
They are. Nathan not wanting to push too much. Just the threat of being there can be pretty relevant here. So can just kind of sit around and provide the threat of actually being able to do something. As Viscid Tuna is the one who actually makes the move. But the Thermite of Rogue Trooper 98 managed to find a pick, but does get traded back out. The SL Midnight.
And that's the Diffuser down there as well. All the way out on the balcony. He was alone.
Yeah, this is really bad. FCR Nathan now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Gets taken down by Nexus, and a strong round for NoStrats. Taking the first half 4-2.
Yeah, especially being up at the half is very important for your team morale. It's going to give you the mental edge that you need to kind of go into the second half and get those last few rounds to close out the game. But honestly, I think that was a very, very big mistake on the Thermite. They were solo, they were alone, they got the wall open, but they didn't rotate off. I think it would have been very wise to rotate off that wall. It's open, they're worried about the pressure. You go around towards the archives with your team, you start pushing, you try and open up the next wall. and then you make your push. So to be alone over there, I think was a huge mistake, and he got punished for it.
Yeah, no, big mistake there, and unfortunately, it did cost them that round. Speaking of this round, however, we do see quite a few new surprises. We've got 2 full body shields, and then a Blackbeard. Pretty whack.
It's very interesting. You know, Blackbeard, we don't see him taken. I would stick true to that name. I would never ever run a strategy. I'd never have setups. I'd never have players playing in the same area. I would keep it random every single time, because then you'd have to be just as good as G2 and counter Stratus on the fly every time.
Indeed. I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it. Personally, I think you shouldn't be going NoStrats when there's 600 whole great British pounds on the line. Actually funded for the team, and that is the entire prize pool. I don't think it all goes to... I'm pretty sure it doesn't all go to the top team. It's a little bit going to second and potentially third and fourth. But right. We've got money here, so there is something to really play for. So if you are in the match, if you're like waiting for... Sorry, if you're in the tournament, if you're waiting for your next match, definitely do a lot of that practice, because there is something to really play for. And also, obviously, the honor of being a USL Rainbow Six Siege champion.
Yes, and we are seeing that Monty being brought back out, like we had said. It is potentially the replacement for that Bliss, if they are indeed a shield main, which I believe that Chow main, and he was quite upset when that Bliss was banned. But we are seeing the Thermite brought back out, and the Clash as well. This is going to be a very, very interesting round, how that Clash is going to be played. But there we see the Legion, who's going to be the biggest threat in the world to that Monty, if Chippy cannot find those goo mines.
Indeed. I mean, dealing with the goo mines is very frustrating at times. Montagna, you said, is going to have to struggle with that. But it's whether I feel... sorry, the thing I really want to keep an eye on is what the Clash is really going to do here. Because often you see Clash used to runouts, and I can't see any runouts which I think are particularly fantastic here.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, are they going to be playing her as somebody on site to kind of use at that last moment to say, hey, they're planting here. I need somebody to play up top. You can shoot down right here. Are they going to be used, like you said, for those runouts? Are they going to be pushing her outside to gather that information? It's an interesting operator to bring out, but we are seeing Clash is using the SPSM G9, the sidearm SMG.
I do think it's quite interesting in the way that you're saying. So if they do play on site, I feel like that's a mistake, because obviously you could just look at the bans and go, well, neither Maestro nor Echo are banned, and they do that job just much better.
Yes, they really do. They are much better at plant denial. Clash, really just, I think, good for slowing down the pushes. So if they play her on site, it will be interesting, but it is still something that's viable. Ooh. Just maybe not the best option, but hey, if they play it well, I'm not going to hold that against them. They are clearly doing something potentially right by choosing her, if that is their main.
Indeed. Gady is actually looking for a bit of a roam here, at least early on. Interested to see where their kind of migration will lead them. Because obviously those...
The Blackbeard sees the Clash coming up the stairs, though. Not going to be engaging, though. Clash not using any of her shocks as well to slow him down. There we go. She is being very, very, very aggressive, though, for somebody who, oh no, gets taken out by the Ash from behind as the Blackbeard was pushing it down those stairs. And that was too aggressive of a push from a Clash, especially when you saw multiple people making entry on those east stairs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Clash's better brother in Montagna is starting to move on through now, and they now have control of the top floor as well, which is really important.
Yes, getting those hatches open with over a minute 30 left on the clock. Super important, and an incredible angle from Noiza. Wow, what a great frag right there. This is already a fantastic round for Team NoStrats, as they are up 5-3.
I think they're lying. I think they're lying to us, because this looks decidedly like Strats. Go upstairs and blow open the floor.
You know, you're absolutely right. I think they are lying with that. Nexus getting another huge frag. Now 5v2. Only the Bandit and the Rook remain.
Maybe they were talking about their defense side, and that's why they only won 2 rounds. Because right now, they're looking pretty darn dominant. Might be too early to speak, but Nexus moving on up, needs to respect the fact that Rogue Trooper is waiting here. Actually pushes aggressively, is gonna find the kill, but a player is lost on the backside. Now it's only Rogue Trooper versus 4 more players. He sees the Montagna, and dealing with the Montagna as the last man alive is pretty difficult, especially when you get flanked by an Ash.
It really is. The Monty doing a good job there, at least holding the attention of the Bandit, allowing that Ash to push up from behind. And we did hear that the Legion mine went off at the last minute, last second of that round, which, you know, we talked about Legion being the perfect counter to Monty. But when Monty has a full minute left to push at you, and has taken no damage on top of that, it's really hard to try and work with those Legion mines.
Indeed it is. We're going to see yet again the Montagna, yet again the Blackbeard and the Ash. But this time they are looking to field a Decabi. And I like that. I think it's actually really good here, especially on locking down players, because they know that there will be some roaming going out. The thing I like even more is the fact that we're seeing Gady swap over onto this Echo, because I don't think that clash was at all useful.
No, the clash was not useful one bit. The Echo, like you said, much better at doing Clash's job. Maestro, much better at doing Clash's job. So to see at least one of the two being brought out, I think is a much better play. Now, the only caveat is that they have to keep themselves alive. They cannot get picked by that IQ. I'm sorry, they didn't even bring an IQ this time, so what am I saying?
They were originally bringing a Twitch, but they swapped it out for, I believe, the Thermite, which is a pretty sensible decision in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is as well. They have a Dokkaebi doing a great job at clearing out those roamers. We saw Dokkaebi utilized very well. I want to say it was round 1 where we saw Dokkaebi call and then push it in on Rook, who was sitting in the bathroom. So kind of an underutilized op. We only saw used once and was used successfully. So to see the Dokkaebi brought back out, I think is a smart play.
Speaking of smart play, we do actually have the alibi out for SCR Nathan here. We're going to see a run out from Rogue Trooper to try and get some of these information down. But I do like this alibi. My favorite thing is to try and get some sort of Hall of Mirrors effect going on. It is always a fun fun operator to use here. So excited to see what kind of style they're going to be going for.
Yes, in the right hands, Alibi can be a monster. Like you said, that Hall of Mirrors style of gameplay, as long as you're setting up in the right area, they don't have the IQ to spot you out even. It's a very strong style of gameplay. And then to use those same Alibi illusions to throw outside to create a distraction, super strong. Very, very strong.
Indeed. Nexus eats a couple of shots onto their rifle shield early on. Now, changing it up a little bit, deciding to come at it from another angle. Rogue Trooper
getting the first pick, though, onto SL Midnight. Now, something I want to see Nexus do on these repel fights right here is to open the window completely and to take a more heightened advantage on the reverse repel. It's actually so incredibly hard for defenders to successfully defend against that style of gameplay. So to open up that window and to really utilize the entirety of that verticalness is very important.
Yeah, I actually think that was a very unfortunate breach. The Montagna actually can't move through there because the kind of wood left in the wall is going to stop them doing anything. Alibi, though, is stuck here. Can't really move out now. It's going to be an impact, but that's a good counter to that rotation from Rogue Trooper there. Noiser, definitely on point.
I like the way that the Alibi is playing this right now. Nathan just kind of peeking out, letting him know that he is playing there, keeping his presence known, but also trying to confuse them with these illusions. But it doesn't look like it's going to matter as both of them get taken out by Chippy. And it looks like they're going to be smoking and trying to initiate this plant.
Indeed. Chippy's going to make their move. Partner's coming in, but there's the Echo. That's exactly what they needed. They take down the Montagna. Chow mein is for dinner, and Noiser will manage to get Greasy Hot Dog, but at what cost? Now the team will struggle to move on in. They do take down FCR Nathan, but Nexus trying to get this plant here. The Echo is still alive. Will they be able to deny the plant? No, it does go down here. Oh, but a spray through. He misses it by just a hair.
This is a really, really good try from Viscatuna, but now they have to retake this site. And Gady's going to be making their way around back into Archives. but
Ooh.
it's not enough as Nexus gets a huge double kill.
I wanna
2 headshots. Wow.
This must be sick, because like that's like a big flick. Wait.
They just lined
What?
up.
Oh, they
lined up
just
through the wall.
Oh no! How do you even... That is really unfortunate for Gady there on the Echo. Just gets headshot through the wall and drops down dead. Really nice play though.
Oh my god, the collateral. That is something that you wish to see, and it rarely happens. Now NoStrats up 6-2. It is match point. That Blackbeard being so incredibly strong that last round. A huge play at the end there. But it almost went either way. I mean, the Monty being taken down was huge. That play could have changed the entire round right there.
I honestly expected the Yokai drone to really make a difference there, but unfortunately wasn't there in time to deal with the plant from that Ying. So they did manage to get it down, and then from there was such a good position held by the attacking side, by NoStrats, that it was very difficult to really push them.
Still a very good try on that defensive round. Like I said, could have gone either way. So it's exciting to see now they're going back upstairs. They're going to hopefully successfully hold this and keep this game going just a little bit longer, because it's been such a fantastic showing from both teams so far.
Indeed it has. Going to see a lot of rotations come on through to try and get those walls, those reinforcements down early. The thing I really like to see is this pulse. We've seen it effective in the hands of pulse players before, and I really want to see Gady show up on this pick. They're going to need it now, or they're just not going to be able to ever use it again in this match, because obviously this is match point, and Gady, you've got to make a big impact, because when you did have the impact, that's when you were winning rounds.
Yes, absolutely. But, you know, seeing the IQ brought back out, this could spell disaster for Gady, but as long as Gady's able to stay hidden, not spam that heartbeat sensor, I think that Gady will be just fine. I think that Gady can make those impact frags and keep them in this game.
Dude, they can. We do see this yet again combo of the Montagna and this Blackbeard. Seems to be quite good for them. They like their shields. Interesting. I wonder how many shields they run if they did actually have the Blitz, whether they just run the Blitz in place of Montagna. I feel like the Montagnas have actually a better fit here.
I do as well. Oh, no.
Oh
no. Huge pick right there. Taking out the Legion so early. Not even 1 minute into the round, and the Legion's taken off the board. They just lost so much utility.
Yeah, that is pretty catastrophic. And is obviously not conducive to a good defense. Which is not what you want when you're on match point here.
No, absolutely not. I think that's a rather wise smoke right there as well. Trying to keep that Monty at bay just a little bit. You know, we saw smokes being used in that first round a little bit early, and we had commented, oh, if they only held on a little bit longer. But so far, you know, I think keeping that Monty at bay is going to be very, very useful, even if there's more than a minute and a half left.
Yeah, we do see a bit of a duel going on here. Nexus looking for a way to try and put some pressure on, but Greasy Hot Dog holding the line. Chow Mein unable to make their way on in, and without the Montagna, yet again, falling to the enemy. It's going to be difficult, but Chippy does make that first pick. Bomber's dropped here, and Noiser is moving aggressively, takes down Greasy Hot Dog, and is looking to pick it back up. Tries to contest, get the spray through the wall, but doesn't quite find the kill. At least has the diffuser here in control. Oh.
More huge picks coming out from this Blackbeard. Nexus doing a fantastic job, and it's now a 1v4 situation. The drones are coming out onto Rogue Trooper. He's going to decide to rotate around. Oh no, he finds one in the hallway. Chippy's been taken down.
But his position was given away in SL Midnight. He cleans it up pretty promptly. Sees that his friend is being shot, goes, oh, hello. They do manage to pick it up. 7-2, NoStrats, showing even without strategy, or so they say, they can still frag out and win here.
And unfortunate for Chow Mein there, because of the DC, ended up with that donut. Now, there were kills before that, but unfortunate just to end up with that fat 0 right there. But still, a very good game by Team NoStrats. A very strong round at the end there, and you know, something that was really important that I touched on before that round started. was IQ versus the Pulse, and we'd ended up seeing Chippy on the IQ take out that Pulse underneath, which was so important.
Indeed it was.